Hello guys, welcome back and thank you so much for being here. What's going on? Please like and share this video. So I have a very quick one and I just want to give you guys an update about Candace Owens and what she's off this entire week and she's fixing to do like a mini series on Erika, and so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But you remember at the very beginning of Charlie Kirk's investigation, after what happened to Charlie Kirk, there were reports about some feminist witches who put a hex or a spell on Charlie Kirk, and they found the cords on Etsy, and according to Erika, Charlie was rattled by all of that. So yeah, remember that whole situation, because in my opinion, it just felt like they were trying so hard to hold on to something to make something stick. But now it looks like Candace is about to link that whole situation to Erika. Anyways, let me go ahead and play this and then I'll give you guys my opinion. Let's listen to
That has
Candace.
been okay, guys. So there is something that has been living in my head rent free that I feel like I need to open up to the internet about. I feel like TikTokers can help me with this a little bit. Somebody told me that when you're doing an investigation, it's really good to go back to the beginning and you'll start to recognize things and see things in a new light that don't really make sense. And so I did that with this Charlie Kirk investigation. In the craziness of the aftermath of Charlie's assassination, we were told that there were witches who had put a spell on Charlie Kirk, and they had, been contacted by a journalist, and then those witches put a spell on him. The journalist published the article on the 8th. Charlie somehow saw it very quickly on the 9th. A priest came over to pray over him, and by the 10th, he was dead. You remember this. So I decided to revisit that and was kind of shocked to learn that that journalist was brand spanking new. Like, she had started writing for the first time in May of that year. And just a couple of months later, she decides to head to Etsy. And of all people to cast a spell on and to try a witch's spell, she chooses Charlie Kirk. I don't know, all that just felt a little bit random to me. And then I dug a little deeper into the witches themselves, okay? Turns out the witch's Etsy page was also new because in the immediate aftermath, Charlie dies on the 10th, Etsy moved to suspend their witch's account, but I went onto Wayback Machine and yeah, they had been on Etsy for just under a month and suddenly someone bought a spell from them and Charlie Kirk was dead. Take a look at their Etsy page that I dug up because it's going to get a little bit weirder. These Strix sisters did not even have a website, by the way. Like, I'm talking brand new, nobody knew who they were. And they filed for their website, purchased the domain name on September 12th. This is before Etsy suspended their account. They get their website up and going, and it's ready on the 15th. Take a look. And you can do this yourself on Wayback, and you can see that when I say they built this website quickly, like, you could buy stuff and buy spells and curses on their website. So suddenly they're like very internet savvy and no one knows who these girls are. But apparently they also had access to the press because they published an article on September 26th in the Daily Mail. We are the witches. I am the witch that cursed Charlie Kirk. Who did they reach out to? How did the journalists know that this was not a hoax? Did they use their real names? I'll show you this article. We are told in the article that a priestess Lilin is the one who cursed Charlie. Again, there are no names used for these individuals anywhere. So I'm just curious how the Daily Mail writer, Nick Allen, and also there was a writer for the Mirror UK, felt confident that they were actually speaking to the individuals who allegedly cursed Charlie Kirk. Did they give them their real names? Can somebody in the chat find their real names? Because I don't know, I'm just thinking that this is another individual that I'd probably like to speak to understand how all of this came together. It just seems very, very strange to me. Am I technically asking the internet to go on a witch hunt? Yeah, I want the names of these priestess, their real names. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair ask. I have a feeling this might be another piece of the puzzle. Who put the quote unquote spell on Charlie Kirk that he was so concerned about the night before, which I call BS on? There were a lot of crazy people who wrote articles about us. Charlie losing sleep over a priestess who didn't exist a month ago seems a little extra to me. Anyways, if you find anything, email us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com. Thanks.
So you guys just saw that. Personally, I feel like Candace is trying to link um the actual person, quote unquote, the person who, the so-called feminist who put this hex on Charlie. I think she's trying to link that to people that are closest to Charlie. So there's this comment that I saw here, and I thought this was really interesting because if you believe in witchcraft, I mean, if you don't believe in witchcraft, all of this would just be like hocus pocus to you, like complete bullshit or whatever. But if you do believe in witchcraft, or if you come from a place where you know that things like that exist, or you are open-minded enough to know that things like this exist, then this comment will be interesting to you too. I saw this, I was like, so this person wrote, as a witch myself, I can tell you that whoever it was that cursed Charlie had to have access to his personal belongings. Whoever it was that that caused Charlie had to have access to personal belongings of Kirk, something he held dear, or his hair. But in order to cast something as powerful as a death curse, they will definitely need something of his. And well, I can look into Erika's eyes and just tell she's full of evil. Okay, first of all, if you actually read the actual um curse, there was really nothing about death, there was really nothing about him dying. It was supposed to just give him rash, cause people to hate him. And of course, when people hate you, hate can lead to so many things, as we already know. But if you believe in that, if you're into that sort of thing, like, and also the arguments can be made that for something like that to actually happen, they will have to have something that naturally belongs to you, something that you have owned, that you have worn, something that belongs to you, that they can add to the concoction, whatever it is that they are making, in order for the stuff to be effective. Again, if you don't believe in this, if you don't think this is even possible, then obviously you're just going to laugh this off. But there are people in many parts of the world who actually believe in witchcraft, who believe that things like this do happen. And that's where this commenter is coming from, basically saying that, yeah, for something like this to actually succeed, for a curse to actually manifest in someone's life, they will have to have something of his that belongs to him. And it's not going to come from that day. For example, people can argue and say, well, they must have picked something off of his after he was shot. No, they would have had something of his already, prior to him getting shot. But I do believe that what Candace is trying to do is link whoever it was, because like she said, this so-called journalist who has somehow been able to identify this person who placed the curse, this so-called feminist who placed this curse, how did they know? So the whole situation, the whole timeline, it just seemed as though this was just another part that they needed to play. This was just another storyline that they needed to arrange, because according to Candace, the story, the hexing or whatever, was published on the 8th, and Charlie saw it on the 9th. So Itsy is not a place that is like so popular that someone like Charlie will frequent all the time. So in order for him to have seen that, it would have meant that, you know, it was like frequenting the site or something, or someone must have informed them. And for someone to like have informed them, to have gotten the message across the way that he did, that meant that it must have been somebody close to him that would have informed him of this thing that was written on the 8th, and he got it on the night, he saw it on the 9th. Like this advert was published on the 8th, and Charlie somehow saw it on the night, and he was rattled by it. And Candace has said so many times that they get these types of things all the time. Like it was not something that could have rattled Charlie the way that Erika supposedly told Megan Kelly that Charlie was rattled by all of this, that he was deeply troubled, so much so that she had a priest invited to come and pray for Charlie. So yeah, the story does not make any sense. The story is just not adding up. These people don't strike me as the kind of people that will hang on to something, about somebody putting a hex, somebody placing a curse on them on the internet. I'm sure that, Charlie has even experienced far more threats, you know, for him to really concern himself with something as crazy as someone putting a hex on him. And for Erika to have taken it so seriously that she actually had to call in the priest to come and bless them or whatever. Yeah. But I honestly believe that Candace is trying to like link the whole situation because
Okay. Okay.
it makes sense.
Okay, guys, so there is something that has been.
It would just make sense for that to be the case, like, because according to the timeline, everything just happened. Even the date of the website, the date of the creation of the website just kind of shows something that was put together last minute, just so they can have enough deflection, just so they can have enough, it's reason to like say to like point fingers at everybody else. Remember, it was in the same spirit that they were saying, oh, um Charlie said they were going to kill him and blah blah blah, and Erika then obviously interpreted that to say, oh, it was the left. Charlie was worried that the left were going to unalive him. Like I just feel like, and if this is where Candace is going, which I think she's going with this, it is something that I agree with. It just seemed as though they were planting different scenarios in place just so that they can attach Charlie's passing to any which way, like blame the left, blame the feminists, blame the this and blame the that. Don't look over here. Don't look over that country that we are not obviously supposed to talk about. But yeah, continue to focus on the feminists and continue to focus on the left. Continue to focus on the suspect who may or may not been a drag queen or dating a drag or a transvestite. Like they were literally, I feel like they were planning. They had so many different things in place, different talking points and different targets as to who might be responsible for what happened to Charlie. And they were just throwing so many darts around and hoping that one would stick. But then I guess they quickly realized how foolish they sounded with the whole feminist, Itsy feminist winch cult, whatever. They realized how foolish they sound. Because I remember the first time that I watched Megan Kelly trying to explain this Itsy feminist cult, whatever, witchcraft. I was like, I cannot believe that this is what Megan Kelly has resulted to. I was like, whoa. So this is what you have now, all those years of going to school, all those years of being an elite journalist, this is what you have now settled for, you know, entertaining this witches and Etsy putting hex on Charlie. This is what I remember just thinking about that when I was listening to Megan explaining all of this. It was so like I felt secondhand embarrassment. I was like, really, do you really need to hold on to the MAGA base so much that you will buy into this Etsy feminist witchcraft nonsense? Really? Are you that desperate to hold on to fame? Are you that desperate to hold on to relevance, like the MAGA base, that you will buy into this? I guess they themselves, I guess they were feeling what I was feeling once they saw the whole thing play out, because they themselves realized, okay, maybe we should let's just drop this Etsy witchcraft, feminist cult, whatever. Let's just look for other let's just look for other seeds that we have planted, as far as who we should hold responsible for Charlie. Like, it was so crazy to me. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on this. Let me know what you guys think about this, and I cannot wait to hear what Candace has to say next week when she comes back and talk about her investigation. And I cannot wait to watch the mini series that she's planning to do. With regards to Erika, there's a lot. Erika has a lot. Erika did not plan on things. If she's responsible for what happened to Charlie, or she knew, and if she had an idea or whatever, she was part of it. She did not plan on Candace going max on finding out what happened to her friend. They totally undermined Candace and what she was going to do and how far she was going to go to find out what happened to her friend. They completely misjudged her. They completely misread. They miscalculated how far Candace was willing to go to get justice for Charlie. And now they are learning, now they're regretting. Never undermine anyone, never underestimate anyone. Their underestimation of her is what is now, now we're seeing it. Now they're regretting. I mean, that's if they're responsible. I'm not saying they're responsible, but if they're Candace Owens was definitely an oversight that they never anticipated. And now that's what they have to deal with. But let me know what you guys think. Like and share. Catch you later. Bye.